Maximus Analysis here for February 22nd at the close. And we have a continuation today. Again, a lot of it happened around the at 10 o'clock, and then it just went sideways. But let's look and see what situations we could be having right now. So we have one or two situations we can kind of look at the past to say, okay, maybe this is going to happen, or maybe this is going to happen. So this is the first one. Again, this area where you had a pop up, again, 3-day bars, light pullback, and then continuation, but then broke down below. Okay, and that one then continued down. Again, the pattern before, it shows some lower highs as well. So again, you have to keep that in mind when you're saying, okay, when we're looking at the past, what happened in the past, because everything shouldn't just be treated equally, that you just look at this little sliver here and then discount all of this going on previously against the 200-day moving average as well. But we're just going to look at it and say, okay, they need to hold above this 1921, 1925 area overnight. Then we have another situation where we got up and ran up, and then they had a full day, and then they just gave some light volume, but then they continued to the upside, almost up 100 ES points. So that could be the upside potential. So you have one that is upside potential, and you have one that will break down. Again, we'll see tomorrow. They need to get a break above today's high, which is around 1944. But if you break down into the intraday action, you can see how, again, this is still this is a live chart, but you can see that after 9:30, it just went sideways. I mean, it was very difficult in regards to a day trade, but on the daily, it looked okay because a lot of it was overnight. So again, the overnight position of maybe taken at the open, but everything else was just a really choppy situation. But we have to trade what we got. So NQ, we pretty much have the same type of scenario. So again, look at these past patterns, and then also kind of learn from them and say, okay, we have one or two situations that are going to happen, and you prepare yourself for either one. Again, if we want to see a lift up above these highs for the NQ, we just want an increase in volume versus a decrease in volume. So we'll continue to look at that. YM, same situation. Again, I don't need to go over it again, but 16,700 is where we want to see, and an increase in volume. Okay, the pullback can always be light volume, but we want, when it breaks above, to then have followed for at least 2 to 3 more days to the upside, and then see if they're going to test these previous lows, and you can use that for the ES and for the NQ charts. CL, we're on the J contract, and it touched 33.83, and we want to see them not get below this 31.25 area again. So the volume is good. We just want to see where it's going to follow through, because again, we still have the lower highs in place. So this is not enough of a pivot, but again, we would say there's a pivot if we get some continuation to the upside. So we'll see exactly where it is. It's kind of in the middle of this move down as well. So it can go either way. Let's look at some names. So Amazon had a good day today. Again, small, again, it squeezed a lot of people that took this engulfing pattern off of the 200-day moving average. So we want to see how that one's going to follow through. You have a price line that's also a little extended right now. So again, I would expect some type of pullback at least. So again, if you took it with your line in the sand at this low and using the 200-day moving average, I would just kind of take some profits and see where it can go. We have Tesla, again, another one that gave a sell signal gap down, but then continued to the upside. So we want to see how it gets to that 190, 200 level. Google didn't really participate much in this rally at all. You see a lot of indecision, just a lot of indecision, so there's not really much to talk about here. Apple did not participate in this as well. It's just a really sloppy daily pattern, quite honestly. We also had Facebook, which was up about 260. So again, this is not my favorite pattern at all, just where it is. It's just in the middle of this stuff. So it's not my favorite pattern, but it's working to the upside. Again, I would not go long now. Only reason because I would rather try to go long on this dip down versus trying to go long when it's already, you know, how many bars is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 to 10 bars already from the original break of the high. I just will wait for something a little bit cleaner. Again, I want my trade versus, you know, I just try to get any trade possible, because what you end up doing is forcing stuff because you figure that you're late. Don't chase if you don't have to. Well, you never have to chase, quite honestly. So just, again, don't chase. Last but not least is LinkedIn. And again, this is starting to get really back to where if you're going to short it, okay, you have something now, low volume, you have a, you know, this shoot down. It's not even probably halfway from this bottom to this top, and then you see if you get a break of a low and go from there. Also, just to remember regarding the Dow, that a lot of it was made up with a couple of names regarding this 200-point move. So you had UTX that gave a lot of it actually in the day. You had United Healthcare, and UTX I think is United Technologies. You also had United Healthcare that gave a pretty, you know, this is just a choppy name. Again, they're just treating the Dow accordingly. In my opinion, this is not something you would want to trade at all. I mean, if you look at this, if you look at this pattern, you could see that it's just not a pattern you really want to mess with. You had you know, Boeing again, just giving slight, you know, again, it's not really much, and that was pretty much the heavy hitters today. And you had Goldman that really didn't do much, you know, at all. And you have some earnings. I think you got Home Depot and somebody today this week. So just be careful and make sure you double check your earnings before you get into anything, so you don't get surprised. But again, looking at this ES to close, we want to see how they're going to fare when we get into you know, they're pulling right now, but we want them to hold these levels of basically 121 to 125 overnight. So let's see what happens. And again, we're, you know, just don't want to get overly bullish or bearish. And again, just take the trade. If it's in your setup and you're saying, listen, a break above this high is where I need, that's fine too. You know, the break above this high would work. So let's see if we're going to have this situation, pull back to break above, or we're going to have this situation. All right, just to be prepared both ways. Take care.